Hi everyone, today we will show you how to make a simple budget.
Exactly. So practically we will show you how make a budget works. So we will assume that we are at the beginning of the year, and as a year has 12 months, so we will divide it in 12 columns, one for each month. So we will show you on an Excel sheet so you can see easily how it works. So you will put from January to December, just to start. Afterwards, you will start thinking about your income. Thinking is just to take the net income that you receive on your account every month. So that you write down income. We will assume that we had an income of 5,000 Swiss francs per month. So you put in for each month 5,000 francs. That is the income. And before probably starting even to make this table, you have to analyze all the expenses that you have, the fixed ones and all the yearly expenses that can come during the year. Usually you start with one easy one, that it's the rent. Normally you have a rent, or probably you have interest to pay if you own a house. So you have to pay back the credits and you have the interest. Here we take as an example the rent. So we put that we have a rent of 1,000 francs per month. So each month you will pay 1,000 francs for the rent. There is the health insurance. Also health insurance, normally you pay once a month. And we assume here that it's 300 francs. So you put 300 for each month. One of the main things, it can be the food. Food is something that you anyway gonna buy during the month. You can make a check of what you used the previous months or weeks, and you multiply by 4, and you take it into account. Here we took 1,000 Swiss francs per month of food. Electricity, it's another topic. We put 50 francs per month. Then we think about our phone that we use very often. So we have to pay 85 per month. Normally these are expenses that comes each month. So you know you receive a bill, or you know that you have to pay. The TV, if you want to see your favorite series or shows. So here we put 115 per month. And now we will go more into details about other expenses that can be either monthly or yearly or each quarterly expenses. So how you do it? One of the expenses that you normally have, if you have, for example, car, is the car insurance. Car insurance can be asked to be paid every year. So we can think about a total amount of 1,500 francs. As you have to pay it at the end of the year, or every 6 months, you will divide the total amount, 1,500, by the 12 months. That means that you have 125 per month that you have to pay. Okay. Or not to pay, but put aside in order that you will pay when the bill will come. Petrol, you use it normally during the month, so you have to buy it. We calculate 200 francs per month, so you put 200 francs for each month. Then there's a topic that it's probably not very how I can say.
People don't think about
it. People normally don't think about, for example, the car reparation. Car reparation is something, I will stop here. Car reparation is something that you are not necessarily expecting, or you don't need to pay, but it can happen that at one point you will have to pay it. More if your car is an old car, you will need to make some reparation. It can be also the wheels or the tires that you have to change. And this, if you don't budgetize, at the time it's gonna come, you will have to pay it. So if you don't have the money, that's gonna be the tricky point. So it's good if you already planify that in your budget, so you can put aside the money, and when you will need it, you will have enough money to pay it. Here, for example, I put that you will need more or less 1,200 francs per year for the reparation. I divided by 12, so it's 100 francs per month. So at the end, if you have to pay a bill, you will have enough money to pay this. More or less the same thing is the taxes. Taxes today can be paid monthly, but still in a lot of countries or in a lot of tax offices are asking to be paid at the end of the year. What you do, you take the whole amount of the last year. Normally, if you don't have any changes in your budget, in your incomes and in your expenses, you can presume that you will pay the same amount of taxes the next year. So for this year, we will take the same amount that we paid last year. In this example, we say that we have to pay 7,800 the whole year. In order not to be surprised at the end of the year and don't have the money to pay it, what you do, you take the whole amount, you divide it by 12, so you put each month from your salary apart for these taxes. So you put here 650 per month for the taxes. Something else that can be probably even more fun is when we are talking about holidays. Holidays is the same. You can plan holidays, you can budgetize, you have to check how much it can cost. You can already go ask for a quote, so you will know that your holidays are a certain amount. It can be that you take twice a holidays, one time in June, one time at the end of the year, or depends on the situation. You can change it. The good thing is to put money aside for your holidays that represent the total amount for the year. So for example, here we put 3,000 Swiss francs for the total amount. We divide it by the 12, so you put every month aside 250 for the holidays. So when you will have to pay your holidays, you have the money to pay it. Another topic, here we put fitness. It can be hairdresser, it can be manicure, it can be a lot of things. You pay every month because you go every month. Here is an abonnement for the fitness. We put 70 francs each month that you will pay. It's more or less like the rent of the health insurance. You can also think about clothes. You want to buy some clothes. So this also you have to assess how many times you buy it, when more or less you buy it, and how much is the total cost of the clothes. This the same, either you know and you think I can probably live with 125 per month of buying my clothes or more, that you decide, but you have to put it because it's something that comes regularly, either each month, either every 3 months that you buy, or you go and you do just during the sale time, but you know that you will have an expense. And knowing that you have an expense and more or less knowing the amount, the total amount that you will have, you predict that, you planify that, and you divide it by 12. Probably one of the main things that you have to think about it is your pocket money. What pocket money means? Pocket money is what you take when you go, for example, for a drink, when you buy a coffee in the morning, when you go for lunch with your colleagues or your relatives, when you go for dinner with friends or have drinks with friends, when you go to a disco, or when you buy something like, for example, a book. It's not that you're a very deep book reader, but oftentimes you buy one book. So as you don't buy it so often, you don't need to plan it, but it can be planned in the pocket money. That you have to analyze how much it can cost, how much it can be, this whole pocket money. And then you divide it 31 days. You assume that every month has 31 days, even though it's not exactly the truth, because February sometimes has 28 or 29, and others they have only 13. But you divide it by 31 per day, and you take this amount as pocket money. That means, here we took the example of 30 francs per day. That means that you will have 930 francs per month. These are expenses that you will make every day. For that, we will make probably another table to explain you how you can really follow up the money that you're using in order to know. Because in general, as you saw, there's some expenses that you use immediately, you pay because you receive the bill, some that you don't use but you put aside. And in order to know how much you have to keep in your account as part of your budget, it's good to have more clear. But this first step was to show you how you make a budget and how you take your income and all your expenses. In order to what? In order to see that every month the money that you have, the 5,000, minus all the expenses, will give you the total. If you get to zero, it's perfect. If you get to minus something, not good. If you have something positive, it's some savings that you can start doing.
And I think it's also important to stress the pocket money, because for a lot of people that might be something totally new, because you receive your salary and then you use what you receive, what you have on your account until there's zero, or until you're in minus at the end of the month.
So in order to know that, that's why it's important to have exactly this amount aside. And if you have more expenses, you have to see where you can decrease. For example, if the pocket money is higher, you can always say, okay, I will use more pocket money and less I will put aside for the holidays or for the clothes. For sure, you cannot start saying I will put less on the rent or I will put less on the taxes, because unfortunately this is money that you will have to pay at the end, or at one moment you have to pay. So that are things that you cannot diminish. But you can play with the others that are more evaluations or analysis that you make, and you can change it. That's why in the previous video I said you can play with your budget, and that is how you can play with your budget.
Yeah, I think it's very clear, and especially the fact that you need to see the money, you need to see what's on your account, and that there are some items that you're not allowed to touch.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll see in another more in detail how you can really control that. Here is more to have the whole picture of the year and exactly put the incomes and the expenses. So if you have any questions, for sure, don't hesitate. And if you would like more personal advice, we can get in touch and we'll discuss about it.
Thank you so much for watching, and let us know in the comments below what you think and if you have any other questions.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.